And welcome to Between the Mats. I'm Matt McJunkins alongside the great, the man, Matty Wilcox. How you doing, Matty Stats?
What's up, Jump?
Man, it was a great weekend. Not so much for the Hogs, but a lot of other things going well this weekend.
That's right. I still feel pretty good, just not quite as good as last week.
Right, exactly. I will say, I wanted to mention this real quick. So, you know, my Pee Wee Panthers, third grade.
Yeah.
You know, Clint, my 8-year-old.
Clint Vegas.
Oh, Clint Vegas. You know, Clint's about a 140-pound third grader.
He's a big lad.
He is. He's a big boy, but he's super athletic.
Right.
You know, he's been playing defensive tackle, and of course I'm coaching defense, so I'm back there behind him.
Yeah.
And he goes and he hits the center, and the quarterback takes the snap, but it's just kind of ugly, and he drops it, and I'm like, it's right at Clint's feet, and I'm like, dude, fall on it. I'm saying this in my mind. I'm like, fall, get it. Clint looks down. Scoops it, baby.
Oh yeah.
Picks it up. And he's looking around for a second, and then he takes off running. There's like 3 kids like grabbing him.
Yeah.
And they just fall off. And he goes and he's trucking, you know, and he goes about 15 yards and they finally get him in the leg and he goes down. Dude, he come off the field. His eyes were like truck tires.
Fired up.
He was fired up. That was probably the funnest thing I've ever had as a sport father, you know, an athlete father. It was so much fun.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
But had some great football Friday night in the state.
We did.
Yeah.
Had some great high school action in the state.
Absolutely.
We'll go ahead and get started, as bad as I've been dreading it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Hey, YouTube.
Oh yeah, tell us about it.
We got the YouTube up tonight. First time ever.
Yeah.
Probably going to be a little rough start.
A little rudimentary.
That's right. It's going to be a learning experience,
That's
but
right.
I think it'll allow some people that don't podcast
Sure.
to see. Now, one thing I thought about this afternoon is there's some things that they won't hear,
Right.
like we just did the play-in music.
Sure.
And so anything that we don't say, you know, in the room here,
Between us, yeah.
in the American Safeguard Insurance Studio,
Right.
that it won't pick up. But, you know, unless we have a guest or something, and we'll figure that out when the time comes.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be learned by then.
You got to start somewhere.
That's exactly right. So speaking of American Safeguard Insurance Studio, do you know we're going to have a new studio?
I do know that.
Okay, so building a new building, right?
Right.
Across the street from here. It's awesome.
It's going to be impressive.
Yeah, and they have designated a studio for
That's
us.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, talk about buying in.
Are they-
Jeremy Davis,
Are they
Jason
putting a
Smith.
statue of you up in the new building?
You know, last board meeting, I brought it up. Got kind of quiet in the room.
Right. A little awkward.
A little awkward. But those guys have been awesome. I mean, you know, they're my boss. You used to work here too.
Yep.
Great guys. You know, best place I've ever worked.
Man, it's great.
It is.
It's hard to beat. I mean, it's very seldom do you find a place that you can come to work every day, and you don't. I mean, not to say that you dread to go to work every day, but you actually enjoy coming
Right.
here. The people are great. You have
Yeah.
fun. You laugh every day. You laugh.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a wonderful place.
It's one of those deals where even when you don't have things to do, like, you know, us commercial agents, we don't, honestly, they don't want us here
Sure.
if we're not doing something here because they want us out selling. But there's a lot of times that you're like, I just kind of want to go because it's fun.
Yeah.
You know, these guys, we pick at each other, we gig at each other.
That's
It's a
right.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
So tell us about the Hogs.
Yeah, man, it kind of flat this weekend. Number 8 Hogs, 4-0 going into Georgia. They were 4-0 on the season, the number 2 team in the nation. And let me tell you something, they are the number 2 team in the nation.
You know, obviously they were good, but let me tell you that a lot of the way the game started had to do with the environment.
Absolutely.
It was just intensity, and we were just a little shell-shocked.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, we kind of all thought, hey, it's a good thing to play them at 11 o'clock because they won't be juiced.
Right. Wrong.
Wrong answer.
Yeah.
They were fired up. So, and that's what I've got in my notes. I mean, you know, we come out, it was 21-0 before I think we ever got out of the locker room.
Yeah.
Like it was,
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't start like that against a team of that caliber and expect to have a good ball game. And so they jumped on us early, kind of whipped us, and, you know, line of scrimmage was my biggest.
Sure.
You know, they just manhandled us on both sides of the ball. But, you know, one thing to look at after I kind of calmed down and got over my mad spell. But, you know, defensively, we didn't play terrible.
No, we didn't. No. Well, you think about that 21 points, 7 of them come off the punt block.
Right. Right. And then if you look at the stats, and I know probably Kirby Smart pulled the reins back a little bit in the second half, just out of respect for Pittman. But even at that, they're still running the ball.
Yeah, and through the third quarter, we'd only given up like 230, 240 yards.
Yeah, and I think, they ended up rushing it 56 times for 273 yards, which is only 4.9 a carry.
Right.
Which is not great defensively, but it's not, if you look at the score, you'd think it'd be a lot worse.
Right, absolutely.
So one thing that I was really disappointed with was our offense.
Oh,
I mean, it was
just lost.
It was just bad.
Yeah, well, we just looked lost.
Yeah.
And the play calling, I was real disappointed in.
Yeah, the third down play calling is.
So can you tell me why? It seems like we either go to our check down a lot, or that is what our plan is. But what I want you to tell me is, how come the guy that's even with the line of scrimmage is Traylon Burks? Is that not the guy you want downfield to go to?
Yes.
I mean, why are you checking down to him?
I don't understand it at all.
I mean, and as big and physical and fast as he is, he's not the quickest guy on the team. And, and the guy you want getting the ball out in open space, even with the line of scrimmage, somebody's going to make a move.
That's right.
And he's the guy you want using his hands
Yes.
up in the air. I don't get it.
I don't either. And here's another thing too, is like, we all thought we were a little overrated, or me and you thought we were a little overrated. We thought that Georgia was probably a number 2 team in the country.
Sure.
But we didn't expect to come out and get dominated like we did.
No, me and you both said there's no way we're a 3-point or 3-score
Right.
game. We were wrong.
We were wrong. But in summary, I put here: did we think the Hogs would win? No. Did we feel like the Hogs were a little overrated? Yes. Did we expect to get absolutely dominated? No. You just got to chalk this one up, learn from it, and move on. Because let me tell you something, Ole Miss got beat just as bad as we did by Alabama. So we go to their place this week, and we got to get over this and move on, because I think we can beat Ole Miss.
I think we can beat Ole Miss too. I think Georgia can beat Alabama.
Man, I'll tell you, what'd you pick the game by? 8, 10?
Yeah, I think you picked 10.
I thought that was a pretty good pick.
Right.
Until I saw them interview Georgia's linebackers in street clothes. And I wanted to change my pick. Dude, those guys are impressive.
Dude, that number 99.
God, he's a mountain.
Oh, wow. I mean, he's just humongous.
And when he tracked down Traylon Smith at the sideline, I was like, this is going to be a long
bad. Bad deal here.
All right, so let's move on from that one. Ole Miss this week, the Hogs dropped to number 13 in the country. Ole Miss is at 17. Ole Miss.
And let me say, I didn't know that until you just said that. I hadn't seen rankings.
Yeah.
That's probably where we belong.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm kind of glad to hear that. I thought we might go a little further. But I think that 13 is probably pretty accurate.
The only thing I would argue is that they've got Oklahoma State ranked in front of us, and I don't.
Well, and Oklahoma continues to barely beat teams that are not good.
Right. So Ole Miss, offensively, they're dynamic. We know that. Matt Corral's probably the favorite for the Heisman right now. I don't know after Saturday's game if he still is, but he's one of them up there. I mean, he's having a heck of a year. But offensively, as a team, they're putting up 44 points a game on offense. They're passing for 306, rushing for 244 for a total of 549 yards a game. Defensively, I think we can get to them because they're giving up 217 yards through the air and 152 on the ground. And Matt Corral, 87 for 125, 70% on the year for 1,210 yards. Here's the real key stat for him: 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Has KJ? He didn't throw on Saturday.
No,
so he still hasn't thrown one either.
I don't know. I think he may have thrown one early.
I thought he did too, but I saw the other day that he hadn't. I'm like you though. I think he did.
Yeah.
I tell you what impresses me about Corral. He can run with the football.
He can.
Like, he's very elusive.
Yeah, I've got on here. He's got 6 rushing touchdowns on the season. So.
Yeah, and watching him run the ball, I mean, he's elusive.
Yeah. There are 2 running backs, Henry Parrish and Jerrion Ely, are pretty good out of the backfield. They both have over 200 yards rushing on the season. Dontario Drummond has 24 catches, 382 yards, and then Jonathan Mingo's their go-to target. He didn't play against Alabama. I think he's a little dinged up.
Yeah.
But he's had 15 catches.
Well, I hope some of them are dinged up this week.
No doubt. So, what do you feel like going into Ole Miss?
I wish we weren't playing them there.
Yeah.
That's a big advantage to them. It's a tough place to play.
Absolutely.
I feel like defensively, we'll look like a lot different team than we did against Georgia.
Yeah.
I think we'll be able to get after them a little bit.
I do too.
One thing, and I don't like to be a whining homer, but they held us like off the edge. They were holding us the entire game, and they threw flags on us the entire game, and they never flagged their offensive line.
The calling was atrocious.
It was bad.
It's not the reason we got beat.
No.
It's not the reason we got beat as bad as we did.
Right.
But it was bad.
Yeah,
calling.
like we were getting held
Yes.
off the edge all day long. And if you our edge players, if you take that away from us,
Yeah.
it hurts us.
Did you watch Ole Miss, Alabama?
I watched about the first half.
Yeah. I just think that we're way more physical than they
Oh,
are.
I do too.
And so I think Pittman's the right man.
Sure.
That'll get us. He'll move us past this. He'll get them motivated again.
Sure.
We'll be ready to play, and I think we'll come out on top on this one.
And I think Pittman probably expected that to happen Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, he built that offensive line.
That's exactly right.
He knew what we were going up
That's
against.
exactly right.
So, all right, that's enough of the hog talk. We'll move on to UCA. Got back on the winning track this last Saturday against an improved Abilene Christian team. UCA won 42-21. Mr. Braylon Smith had a heck of a game.
Good kid, man. Good guy.
28 for 38 for 358 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions.
Wow.
And then LaJuan Winningham, who will play in the league one of these days, 8 catches for 211 yards and 1 touchdown.
They've got 2 kids. That Tyler Hudson kid will also be playing in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they play Eastern Kentucky at home this Saturday. And then Arkansas State lost again to Georgia Southern. So Georgia Southern went 1-1 in the state of Arkansas this year.
Hang on. Back to the UCA game.
Yeah.
Did your legitimate son, he transferred from Eastern Kentucky,
He
didn't
left and didn't
Hey,
even tell me. I had to look him up.
he? didn't send a Dear John letter?
No, I mean, I was looking for his stats in Eastern Kentucky and found out he transferred to Bowling Green.
He just went across the state.
He did.
You know, we need to take a road trip one weekend. You know, it needs to be a family reunion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, have you talked to Coop about maybe looking at Bowling Green?
No.
That'd be cool if, he's a receiver, Coop's a quarterback.
Cooper Wilcox to Matt Wilcox. For the touchdown, baby.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, me.
Okay.
So, yeah, Arkansas State lost to Georgia Southern 59-33. And they don't look now, but they got number 15, Coastal Carolina, coming to town. So,
Yes. Get ready, son.
Yeah.
They're the real deal.
it's going to be a bad one up there, I'm afraid.
I'm going to tell you, I've always been a Red Wolves fan, but I'm going to tell you, I'm so disappointed with the Chad Morris Jr. they got going over there right now.
Well, didn't you tell me that the quarterback threw three
picks
Saturday and Hatcher still didn't get to play?
Hatcher came in. He was
did.
4 for 6 with a touchdown.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Lane Hatcher sitting on the bench, a kid that has been magical over there. And this guy, Bush Jones comes in and brings in 52 players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it completely undoes what Arkansas State football has been about successfully
That's right.
about for the last decade. I mean, it's a dumpster fire. I hate to pull against them, but I'm so ready for them to lose enough that they get rid of him.
Yeah. Well,
And I hate to say it, I really don't. I mean, I'm pulling for them because they're part of our state.
it's just
It's
put a bad taste. in
Yes,
my mouth.
absolutely.
For sure. And it's not going to get any better.
No.
Not this week for
No,
sure.
and all these kids that have been there, they're talking about quitting. Just from our inside sources,
That's
they're
just-
saying we're not coming back.
It's just a bad
It
situation.
is.
Well, let's move on from college talk and let's get into a little high school action.
So let me tell you, we're going to Clarksville, right?
Yep.
And I always stop and I take all the guys on the broadcast crew and I take them to eat somewhere and I buy their supper.
Right.
And we go to Wendy's and I'm in line and JB's behind me, right?
Yeah.
You know what he says? You know, I always try to wear a Panther shirt and then I usually wear my ASI blue
Right.
hat. JB goes, I don't think I've ever seen somebody wear their hat on the very last snap.
That's just rude, man.
I was like, I said, son, there's a lot of knowledge in this head. The guy behind him was rolling.
Say, by the way, you're paying for your own meal.
That's right. You better say that after I pay for your meal. Hurt my feelings, but I don't know that I know anybody that has to wear theirs on the last snap either. So I went with the grilled chicken after that.
Oh, me. So let's talk about these picks.
Yeah, man. Oh, okay. YouTube people, you're not going to get to hear this.
Right.
We're going to figure out how to get all this to where maybe we can plug in like a speaker or something.
Yeah.
So YouTube can hear it too. But I'm fixing to play Maddie's jingle
Oh, yeah.
because Maddie was victorious. It's all tied up, baby.
That's awesome.
I tell you what, Maddie, you earned it, my man. You earned it. And hey, you know, I was right there behind you.
You were?
But you did. You pulled it off. Magnolia's, I think, is what I'm going to say the one that got me.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, Maddie was 88%.
Man.
Maddie's over there getting that scholarship.
That's right.
You know, we went from D students to
Hey, we're on the come up,
trying
baby.
to get that scholarship.
That's right.
I was 84%. I was 22 of 25, and Matt was 21 of 25. Hey, I almost caught you on the scoring though.
Yeah, I saw that.
You were 8.097. I was 7.85.
You know, we haven't had a tie yet to where we've had to use that for
nah,
the
we
tiebreaker.
haven't. We haven't.
So,
We haven't.
so it's all tied up
It is,
for
man.
the season.
It is tied up.
That's
son.
awesome. It's gonna be fun. That's the best week to date.
Yeah.
Between
I
the
mean,
two of
that's
us.
the first time both of us. I think I had a B the first week.
Yeah, I think
and
you're
since then we've been C's, maybe a B here and there, but C's and D's
Yeah,
mostly.
I think you're right.
Yeah, but we're both in the B's. Mama's proud of it. Got a good report card.
All right, so now we're gonna go into our player highlights from last week. And
Well, we got a bunch of them.
Week 5, man, there was some great performances last week. So we'll start with Conway, Donovan Amalo, the sophomore quarterback at Conway, who is making a huge difference for this Cats team. He was 16 of 26 passing for 191 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Boogie Carr, the running back there in Conway, carried it 20 times for 134 yards.
Have you seen him all? Have you seen highlights? Like,
Yeah.
have you seen him how they snap the ball and he flips it?
Yeah, he's pretty smooth.
He's smooth.
He is.
He's smooth. Kid's a sophomore.
He's gonna be special.
Like, this was a big, I don't want to say fine, because they knew he was there, but I think when we talked to Coach Fibble the other day, it was kind of like he had to grow up right now.
Well, and talking to Manny a little
Right,
bit.
man, he was
this
saying
summer,
the same thing, yeah.
he was like, man, I'm a little bit worried about our quarterback position because we don't know who it's going to be.
Right.
When we had 3 or 4 kids.
That's right.
And this kid
was a 9th grader.
He just stepped up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now he's a sophomore. By the way, Manny Smith was our Faulkner County Player of the Week last week. That kid, you see Manny, you stand by him, he's like 5'4", and the kid is, he's small.
He's little.
Dude, he is so fun to watch.
Did you see the picture of him mossing that kid?
No.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to show you.
Yeah, you'll have to show me. But I've seen so many highlights of him over the last year, and even 7-on-7 this summer. Like, he is special.
Yeah, he is.
And he's an unbelievable young man.
Oh, fantastic kid. So who you got up next?
Let's see. Benton.
Yep.
Cam Harris over at Benton. 7 catches, 213 yards,
Wow.
3 touchdowns. Great game for Cam there. Chris Bernard also at Benton, 33-yard interception, return for a touchdown. And I had to put Donovan Pearson in there,
Yeah.
because his mama,
Little home blood.
That's right. She a Hornet. She a Middle Springs Hornet. And you talk about a good family, man. Her mom and just her cousins, the whole family, just good people. And but Donovan, he had a touchdown reception, and he's been a big player all year for them.
Absolutely.
They, I think her nephew is playing for PA.
Is that right?
I need to ask her because I'm pretty sure that is
That's cool.
her nephew that's over there at PA because they kind of go back and forth and watch them.
Gotcha.
But yeah, good family, good family and good athletes. Hey.
All right, Tracker. Is it Whited?
Yeah, well, I didn't even put the school there, did I?
No, but he had 9 tackles
Against Monticello.
Yep. So whoever played
I don't remember
Monticello.
who played Monticello this weekend. I tell you, I do. I think I do know because I think I had put Monticello. Hamburg. He's from Hamburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So that brings us to the next one, Fountain Lake. Nashville is just struggling this
They are
year,
struggling.
and they ran against Fountain Lake this Friday night and took it on the chin. Stephen DeArmond, 221 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns.
Very nice,
Yes.
Stephen. Great game. In Jacksonville, have 2 standouts here. Martavion Casey had 12 carries for 109 yards and 1 touchdown, and Kentrell Thompson, 18 carries for 192 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Jamario Ballantyne from Newport, 16 carries, 169 yards and a touchdown. That's 10 a carry right there, Bubba.
Pretty good.
Oh, also from Newport, Colin Cripe, 3 catches, 165 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Goodness gracious.
That is a game.
It's pretty good per catch average.
Yes.
All right, Greenbrier we go. Mr. Nick Hewitt. Man, this kid is a football player and has been since the 4th grade.
Oh, well, he's had a beard since the 5th grade.
Absolutely. So he had 12 carries, 88 yards, and 1 touchdown. He also had 10 tackles and had a forced fumble in that ball game. And then Cooper Wilcox had 65 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, and was 9 of 14 passing for 125 yards and 1 touchdown through the air.
I didn't have all the stats on that. Was it 65, right?
Yeah.
I knew it was
think.
real close. 66, 65,
Yeah,
yeah. All right, Brandon Scott over at Charleston. He was one of our players of the week last week. Kid's just good. You know, you look at kid that puts up numbers like this passing and rushing. He threw for 121 yards and ran for 111.
Very nice. Jared Payne at Warren, 62 yards receiving, 1 touchdown, and a 42-yard interception return for the TD. Took it to the house.
Yep.
And then Traylon Jackson from Warren, 13 carries for 136 yards and a touchdown.
And here's 3 in a row here from Bologna, and they had their offense is just really impressive.
Yeah, it is really.
You know, Austin Myers, another player of the week last week. This was so impressive. 34 for 46, 519 yards passing, and 7 touchdowns.
That's a season for
Yeah,
some people.
that's right. That's right. Jamison Hensley, he had 13 catches for, I believe it's 212 yards. I don't think it's 2,112 like I put down here. But in a touchdown. He was the Scorebook Live Player of the Week last week.
Okay.
And then Cannon Bartlett, 10 catches, 186 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Man, their offense is rolling.
They are, man.
Cameron Van Zant played against Mr. Austin Myers on the opposite side. At Farmington, he was 29 of 45 for 410 yards and 3 touchdowns, so not too shabby there, too.
2 electric quarterback nights right there.
And he's a sophomore.
Yeah. Eli Massengale from Ozark. Now, check this out, right? 4 carries in the first half, 200 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Goodness gracious.
That's unreal.
50 yards a carry.
Yep.
Jack Cleveland from Robinson was 16 of 23 passing for 403 yards, along with a 60-yard touchdown pass. And then Darryl Searcy, the running back there at Robinson, had 100 yards rushing and 3 TDs.
Jay Sean Davis, a name that we're very familiar with. He's a super impressive, big running back in Arkadelphia. 200 yards rushing in that game against Robinson for 5 touchdowns.
Very nice. Carson Winters from Valley View had a 60-yard interception return for a TD, and Carson Turley, also from Valley View, was 5 of 7 passing for 108 yards and 1 touchdown.
It's going to be interesting to see them this week against Wynn, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Up in Fayetteville, boy, their offense puts up some numbers, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Bladen Fike, 6 touchdown passes and 260 yards. I believe they was 14 of 18.
And I think that was in
The first half, yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right too. And then also Isaiah Satana, is it Satana? Satana.
Yeah.
He's the one that's going to Oregon, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome receiver, 3 touchdowns, and love to see him flip that and just come on up to Fayetteville.
Absolutely. And then over at Bryant,
I'm assuming they're brothers.
I'm assuming they're brothers, and they may be twins because Bryant had a set of twins play for him last year.
Really?
Defensive backs, yeah. So Miguel and Malachi Graham both had interceptions, and both of them returned it for touchdowns. Miguel had a 59-yard interception return for a touchdown, and Malachi had a 50-yard interception return for a touchdown.
They said, I can do it too.
Yeah. See, Mama, I'm just as good.
Robert Hendricks that's still Bryant. I'll go ahead and say it though.
Okay.
Robert Hendricks over at Bryant had a 65-yard touchdown run.
Okay. And over in Crossett, Tyreek Jones, 266 yards passing and 101 yards rushing.
That is a game right there.
It sure is.
Up in Harrison, had a big win over Alma. Logan Plumley, quarterback there, is 14 for 18, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then Brody Gillum at Harrison, 130 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, and 21 yards receiving.
Here's a name that we're getting all too familiar with.
Yeah.
Old Sunquist Church had another great game. Had 98 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns.
Now, he's at Bentonville, right?
South side, north side. I'm not sure.
He may be south side.
I can't remember.
I didn't put it down there. I missed it.
We'll forgive you.
I've had a lot of typos in this too. I need to get my act together. All right, over at Russellville, big win over Van Buren, undefeated Van Buren. Travion Trailer was a tractor trailer. because he had 2 sacks and 4 quarterback hurries.
That's pretty impressive. And this is a name we've been waiting to say all year.
You probably could every week, really.
Yeah, you probably could. Mr. Riker Haseball up in Jonesboro. 17 of 23 for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then also Brock McCoy from Jonesboro had 13 carries for 102 yards and a touchdown.
Eli Wisdom up at Shiloh Christian. That's a name that anybody that keeps up with college or high school football is familiar with. This is impressive.
Very.
15 for 15 passing, 156 yards, 3 touchdowns. Carried the ball 3 times for 66 yards and a touchdown.
It's like I told you a minute ago. It's hard to go 15 for 15 against Eric.
That's right. That's right.
So to do it in live action is pretty.
And
impressive.
honestly, this is just another week for him.
Yeah, that's right. All right, over in Ashdown we go. We got 2 names here to recognize. Mr. Jonathan McElroy, 55 yards rushing and 3 TDs. And Jaden Fricks in Ashdown, 134 yards rushing.
And they're undefeated, and they've got a hog tight end, Shamar Easter.
That's right.
And then our last one down at Camden Fairview, who is rolling, is Jabari Lockhart, and he had 2 interceptions.
Very nice, very nice. So that's all of our highlights and stats for players' performances last week in week 5. And then Junk's going to bring you, this is something we started last week.
Yeah.
We're doing Between the Mats Players of the Week for each classification.
Yeah. Hey, one thing our YouTube people can see, we'll show them the shirt.
Yeah.
Player of the Week shirts.
Very
They're
nice.
awesome. They're awesome.
Who's bringing those to us?
That is from, of course, American Safeguard Insurance,
Right.
and then Bleacher Bling.
Yes.
Bleacher Bling, LaDonna Simone. She will hook you up. Whatever school you got, just let her know. She'll get you fixed up.
Check them out on Facebook, or you can
Yeah.
check them out online.
Yeah.
Man, they do some amazing work.
I think it even says on here, it's like www.shopbleacherbling.com.
Very nice. So for week 5, Junk's going to bring you our Between the Mats Players of the Week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, to be fair, we don't have stats from all the schools.
Right.
This is from the stats that we can gather together. So, coaches, if you hear this, and we'll tweet this as well, send us your stats if you can. You can tweet them to us. You can email them. My email is mmcjunkins@asiagents with an S on the end.com. But yeah, we'd love to know stats. That way we can be sure everybody's nominated.
Yeah.
This week, though, an impressive list of guys here. 2A, William Litton from Quitman. 6 carries, 113 yards, 4 touchdowns in the first quarter.
Goodness gracious. 6 carries and got in the end zone 4 of them.
In the first quarter.
That's pretty awesome.
3A, over in Newport, Kylan Crate. 3 catches, 165 yards, and 3 touchdowns. 4A, Eli Massengale over at Ozark. And this is the one we talked about a while ago. 4 carries, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, also in the first half.
That's unreal.
And then 5A, Austin was our. We didn't announce last week's because we actually did it after we recorded.
Right.
This is something that's kind of new. Just got everything worked out and getting the shirts done. But Austin was our 5A last week, and then you look at this week. And you kind of want to spread it around, but when a guy goes 34 for 46 for 519 yards and 7 touchdowns, he just wins again.
That's it. You can't overlook
No,
something like
you
that.
can't. 6A, Cam Harris over at Benton. 7 catches, 213 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then 7A is Bladen Fike from Fayetteville. 14 for 18, 260 yards, 6 touchdowns in the first half.
That's amazing.
It is. Hey, before we go into our top 10s, I want to mention Caden Henley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kid from Shiloh, who last year me and you raved about. We said he could be the best football player in the state.
Sure.
He is a Razorback signee, or a commit, I'm sorry. He's a man child, right? And we talked about him. He's I think he's up to like 350 last time we talked to Coach Conway on Power Clean.
Yeah.
So he has a kickoff return, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw it on Twitter. And I'm like, well, that's no shocker. He probably took one to the house. Dude, he got hit by people, and it's just like a pinball machine. Like he goes and he hits somebody, and they fall off, and then somebody else fall off, and it's just, and then the last 30 yards, he just kind of trots in. Everybody else is on the ground.
That's pretty
He's
awesome.
so fun to watch, man.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to take us into our top 10s. We'll start in 7A this week. I'll start us with 7A.
Yes, sir.
So last week, our top 10, we had Bryant at number 1. Bryant beat Catholic 49-13. Cabot was number 2. Cabot beat Southwest 45-7. We had North Little Rock at number 3. North Little Rock lost to Conway 38-10. Fayetteville, we had Fayetteville at 4. Fayetteville beat Rogers, handled them pretty easily, and I think that one was pretty much over in the first half. Beat them 48-13. Number 5, we had Conway at 5 last week, as we talked about. They a big win at North Little Rock, 38-10. Number 6, we had Bentonville. They handled Southside 46-7. Number 7, we had Bentonville West that won at Springdale 40-0. And number 8, we had Northside. Northside beat Central 35-0. Rogers was 9. They lost to Fayetteville. We talked about that. And then Harbor, we had at 10, and they won at Heritage 42-21. So that brings us to our Between the Mats top 10 for week 6. Bryant Hornets stay at number 1. No shock there. They'll be at Central this week. Cabot will be at number 2. They're at Conway. So big rivalry game here.
That's a big one, man.
It'll
You
be
know,
big.
I asked you when we got here tonight, I said, who's number 2?
Yeah.
And you said, I'm sticking with Cabot for now. I said, well, you got to.
Yeah.
Just because Conway hasn't lost. But
Sure.
hey, you know, that loss to Fayetteville, Manning was out the
That's
second
right.
half.
That's right. And we've talked to several people that think if he would have played, they wouldn't have lost that game.
That's right. That's right.
But we'll get to find out on the field who's
That's
to
right.
play this week. We got Conway at number 3, playing at Conway versus Cabot. North Little Rock at number 4. They're at Southwest. Should take a W there. Number 5, Fayetteville is at Southside. Number 6, Bentonville is playing at home against Heritage. Number 7, Northside's at Catholic. Number 8, West is playing at home against Rogers. And then number 10, Harbor is playing against Springdale.
Okay. But did you have West at home? I had them at Rogers.
Yeah, I've got it at West.
Okay, it may be. I didn't know. I may have that wrong there. Okay, 6A it is. Lake Hamilton. They kind of let everybody know Friday night,
They
didn't
did.
they?
They sure did.
So last week we had Lake Hamilton 1 and Parkview 2 after that impressive Parkview just beat
Handling
down
Greenwood.
over Greenwood.
Yeah.
And so this week, and you wonder how much that takes out of the Parkview team playing a team like Greenwood, then go turn around and
Sure.
play Lake Hamilton. But nonetheless, number 1 Lake Hamilton played number 2 Parkview Friday night, and apparently it was a game.
It was.
Lake Hamilton beat them 24-14. But I think that kind of gives us the idea that Lake Hamilton has kind of set their place as truly the number 1
Sure.
team in the state right now. Now, some in the East might disagree with that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
For now, Lake Hamilton's number 1, Parkview's 2, Jonesboro number 3. They've done nothing but win.
That's right.
They beat Sheridan 43-6, and then El Dorado number 4. After just last week, barely losing to Jonesboro after being up in the 3rd or 4th quarter. They beat Pine Bluff. They scored 70 points and won 70-38.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I'll probably get the stats tomorrow from El Dorado.
Oh, yeah.
In that's Coach Jones in.
Had to have put up some big numbers.
I'm just interested in their quarterback.
Yeah.
He's so good. I'm interested to see his numbers. We might should have waited to pick our 6A. But Benton, they're number 5. They beat Siloam Springs 66-29. They just keep on rolling. They keep scoring a lot of points
They had a
too.
big game this week.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Greenwood. They beat Mountain Home 31-7. Sylvan's at number 7. Seems like they kind of got things turned around from when they struggled early this year. They beat a good Marion team 24-10. Van Buren was number 8. They lost to Russellville 38-6. That was one of them I picked. I just watching Russellville some this year and seeing who Van Buren has played up to this point. I thought Russellville might just be more athletic and could run the ball on them.
That was a good pick because I picked Van Buren.
Yeah. Marion, number 9, they lost to Sylvan Hills 24-10. And then Searcy. This seems like Coach Clark has really got them rolling now. And that's to be expected, a new coach at a new school. They struggled a little bit at first, but they played some big teams
That's
too.
right.
But they kind of, last couple of weeks, they're not just winning, they're winning big.
Absolutely.
Against the West Memphis team. All right, so this week's top 10 for 6A. Lake Hamilton, number 1. They'll play Russellville at home. Number 2, Parkview. Parkview goes to Benton. and it just never lets up, does it?
No, it doesn't. So Parkview's played Greenwood, Lake
Yes.
Hamilton, and Benton back to back.
And I think right before Greenwood was when they played Whitehall.
It was
13-10.
Yeah,
So I mean,
they're battle.
they're going through the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Number 3, Jonesboro going down to Pine Bluff. Number 4, El Dorado's going to Sheridan. Number 5, Benton's at home at Parkview, as we mentioned. Number 6, Greenwood. They'll be at home playing Siloam Springs. 7, Sylvan Hills going over to West Memphis. Number 8, Searcy. We moved them to number 8 this week. They're playing at Marion. Number 9, Marion, right behind them. They're got Searcy at home. And then number 10, Russellville jumped back up in the top 10, and they'll go to Lake Hamilton this week. So
They get back in the top 10, and then they got to play Lake.
they got to play number 1. That's the way it is.
That's right. All right, 5A we go. So last week we had PA number 1. They won and beat a Liberty Christian Texas team. Went down to Texas and just showed some Arkansas dominance. Beat them 63-14.
I mentioned this to you before. I think there's at least a possibility, if not a good chance, this may be the best team PA's ever had.
Maybe.
It's good. Probably because it's got Trevor Duke, my cousin, as the center. But,
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that Liberty Christian team is coached by the former Dallas Cowboy tight end.
Novacek?
No. The one,
Moose Johnston? No.
The one that just retired.
Oh, gosh. How can I not remember that? There was an announcer?
Yes. I just went completely.
I did too.
Anyway, I think
I'm
he's
embarrassed.
I think he's coaching that team.
Okay.
Number 2, last week we had Whitehall. We had moved them ahead of Little Rock Christian, and shows that we knew a little bit about what we was talking about.
Hey, I told you, I said, that pick made us look good, man. Look good.
So Whitehall beat Little Rock Christian 16-10 in a heck of a ball game there. Little Rock Christian was number 3. Number 4 was Wynn, and Wynn got they won at Greene County Tech 32-10. Number 5, Fairview beat Texarkana 33-0. The Greenbrier Panthers went to Clarksville and played in a downpour and beat the Panthers 34-13. Valonia Eagles were number 7 last week, and they went and beat an undefeated Farmington team at Farmington and just put up some crazy offensive numbers. Beat them 57-28. Number 8 last week we had Maumelle. Maumelle beat BB 35-17. Number 9 was Harrison, and Harrison beat Alma 42-21, and Farmington lost to Valonia 57-28. So this week, top 10 in 5A, PA number 1, they play at Whitehall, which will be a big ball game in the Central.
Let me tell you something. That Whitehall defense, they have played 5 games, right?
Mm-hmm. 2
of those games has been Little Rock Parkview. One of the biggest offenses you talk about multiple D1 commits.
Yeah.
And then they play Little Rock Christian.
Who puts up crazy numbers.
Right. In 5 games, with those 2 included, they've given up 23 points, which means 4.6 points per game.
That's just silly. But they'll be tested this week.
Yeah, this week, I don't care how good you are. I just don't think people stop them.
Yeah.
You just got to outscore.
That's right, and I don't think they're good for that.
I don't think they are either.
All right, so number 1's PA. They play at Whitehall, which Whitehall's our number 2 team this week. Number 3, we kept Little Rock Christian there in a tough loss to Whitehall. They're at BB this week. Wynn will stay at number 4. They play a big game this week in the East, and they play Valley View at home. Fairview will play another big game in the South.
I would like to watch this game.
Yeah, so Fairview is playing at home against Magnolia, a team that me and Junk had thought at the beginning of the season would end up factoring in big time at the end of the year, and they kind of struggled offensively at the beginning of the year, but
didn't know how.
Right. Yeah, but
because they had so many returning now, but don't know about their line.
Yeah, I'd heard they lost several linemen.
They may have,
but I think they're starting to figure it out.
Yeah, they are.
Number 6, Greenbrier Panthers will stay at number 6. They're 5-0 in the season. First time Greenbrier has been 5-0 since 2012.
Big one this week, though.
Yeah, big one, and going to Harrison, a Harrison team that lost by 1 to Farmington a couple weeks ago, which was their first loss in the West in like 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So big game for Greenbrier this week. Valonia goes to Pea Ridge, which is a long drive to play a half of football, but I'm afraid
that's what it's going to be.
I'm afraid that's what it's going to be.
Well, you look, and I know, I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but Morton's down this year, and it was 40-0, I think, in the 3rd quarter over Pea Ridge.
I think it was 33-0 at half.
Yeah. So they're just struggling.
They just down this year. And then Harrison's number 8 big game against Greenbrier at home this week. Number 9, Maumelle is at Jacksonville, and number 10, Farmington plays the old Devil Dogs this week.
Yep. Home Maumelle finally. It's funny, they're in the top 10 and they got their first win this week. They've been through the gauntlet.
They have.
All right, 4A. Boy, I love 4A. There's so many good teams in here. We had Shiloh Christian number 1. They've just been kind of the cream of the crop and have been for a little while now. Number 2, we had Joe T. I guess I'll tell you what Shiloh did. Shiloh beat Green Forest 58-12. No shocker there. Mentioned Eli Wisdom 15 for 15. Then of course Caden Henley. I don't know his stats. I'm sure they were awesome, but huge touchdown on the kickoff return. Joe T. Robinson beat a very good Arkadelphia team 56-32. That one shocked me a little bit.
Me too. I thought that would be a really good ball game. I didn't think the margin of victory would be near that.
I didn't either. Number 3, Arkadelphia. As we mentioned, they lost to Robinson 56-32. Warren beat Star City 40-15. That Warren bunch is rolling. Ashdown, number 5, beat Bauxite 21-7. Number 6, I've got mine backwards. I had Crossit, and I know that wasn't right. I guess we had. Number 6 was Stuttgart. They beat Heber Springs 42-0. 7, Lone Oak beat Bald Knob 14-0. Expected that to be a little bigger of a win. Number 8, Crossit, beat Dumas 66-14. Impressive win. 66 points.
That's a lot of points.
It is. Number 9, Mills. I don't know if I did that right, but anyway, Mills, they beat CAC 60-16. And then number 10, Prairie Grove, beat Gravett 44-25. I think I have my top 10s wrong, but I got the new ones right.
That's right.
So anyway, and I tell you, a team that I've almost tried to sneak them in there on you is Elkins.
Yeah.
And they just keep winning.
They do.
Do you know who's coaching there? Drew Morgan.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, he's coaching there.
That's awesome.
I saw that on Twitter this week. So number 1 this week in the new top 10, week 6, Shiloh Christian. They'll go to Prairie Grove. Big time conference game, biggest game of the season in the conference.
Yeah, and Prairie Grove played them really tough last year at Shiloh,
right.
So this is an interesting ball game.
Yeah, they'll play at Prairie Grove. I don't expect it is an interesting game. I don't expect it to be maybe even as big of a game last year, just because I think that Shiloh team, everybody was back.
Sure.
And I think they're just better. They just melded, Number 2, Joe T. Robinson. They play the Scrappers of Nashville at home. Number 3, we went ahead and moved Warren up to 3. They're going to Dumas. Number 4, Arkadelphia. We still think they're a top 4 team. They are playing Fountain Lake at home this week. Number 5, the Ashdown Panthers playing Malvern at home this week. Number 6, Stuttgart. They're 4-1. They're playing at Bald Knob.
Looks like maybe they've gotten things figured out a little bit.
I think they have. I don't know what happened to them because they had so many come back. I don't know if they just kind of went through a hangover from last year.
That score against Heber, nothing against Heber, but that's the kind of scores we expected to see.
That's exactly right. Number 7, Mills. They're 5-0. They're scoring a lot of points. They play at Clinton this week. Number 8 is Crossit. They play at DeWitt. Number 9, Prairie Grove. As we mentioned before, they're home this week against Shiloh Christian. And then number 10, Lone Oak. They're at Batesville Southside. Could be a ball game.
Could be a good ball game. Jackrabbits keep winning, but this will be a tough test for them.
It will be.
All right, 3A we go. Last week, number 1 was Prescott. Prescott beat Fountain 56-0, and man, they just continue to roll. Number 2, Boonville. This was an interesting ball game. They went down and played a Timpson, Texas team, who was a state runner-up, I believe, in 2A in Texas last year. Apparently a really good football team.
Right.
And Boonville gave them all they wanted, but come up a little short. Timpson beat them 57-40. Number 3, we had Harding, who put it on Mountain View, which I was a little surprised by this score because I thought Mountain View would play them a little bit better, but Harding beat them 38-0.
And we kind of lost some confidence in Harding after that Valley View loss. But that's such a big jump.
It is.
And it was a 1-point loss.
Yeah.
And since then, they've done nothing but roll.
That's right. Number 4, the McGee Owls continue to roll. They're 5-0 in the season. They beat Lake Village 41-14. Number 5, Osceola beat Piggott 67-0.
That's a big win.
Big win. Number 6, Paris. The Eagles are undefeated still in the season as they beat Two Rivers 58-0. Charleston, number 7, 5-0 on the season, beat Cedarville 40-20, which they kind of thought Cedarville would push them a little bit.
Yeah, that Cedarville team's not bad.
That's right. Number 8, Center Point beat Horatio 41-6. Number 9, Glen Rose beat Genoa Central 41-6, and then Hoxie won by forfeit. Palestine Wheatley had a
forfeit. It looked like COVID maybe.
Yeah. And so our top 10 for this week, Prescott continues to be number 1 until somebody knocks him off. This is a big game for them and probably a big game for Center Point because Center Point wants to prove something.
Sure.
I just don't know if they're going to have enough to get it
I
done.
don't either, and I think this is the conference championship.
Yeah.
But Center Point could be the second best team in the state and may not be able to play with them.
That's right. We'll find out. Boonville stays at number 2, and they're at Mayflower this week. Number 3, Harding is at Riverview. Number 4, McGee plays at Camden Harmony Grove, which ought to be a good ball game.
That should be a good one.
Yeah. Number 5, Osceola goes. They're at home against Palestine Wheatley. I hope they're able to play this week. Paris is playing against Baptist Prep, a Baptist Prep team that is playing good football this year. Put it on Mayflower last week, so that'll be a good ball game. Charleston is number 7. They play at home against Mansfield. Center Point and Prescott. Glen Rose is number 9, and they play at home against Bismarck, which
Could be a good one.
be a good one. And then Hoxie is at Corning this week.
And Hoxie team just keeps winning.
That's right.
Of course, I guess it's hard to lose when they forfeit, but they have been winning. Okay, 2A. This is my little conference or my little class.
That's right.
As an old Middle Springs Hornet, Bigelow, they just been rolling this year. They were number 1. They beat a pretty good Yellville Summit team, 35-8. Number 2 was the Garden Go Devils, and they put it on Hampton, beat them 48-6. Number 3, McCrory. They beat East Poinsett County 22-18. That one shocked me a little bit.
Yeah, it did me too.
Yeah, I will say this: these smaller teams that run the ball a lot. I would just guess in the rain they might have been a little fumbling going on or something.
A little sloppy.
Yeah. But and a lot of these teams still play on grass too.
That's true.
So could have been a real sloppy field.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That score shocked me a little bit. Number 4, Hazen beat Magnet Cove 20-7. Clarendon, I've got Clarendon didn't play.
Yeah, I've got them all.
Okay, yeah. Fordyce, they beat Carlisle 28-12. Desark, now this one shocked me a little bit. I expected them to win, but they beat Mount Ida 58-8. A Mount Ida team that we had at number 8.
Yes.
Which is the next one. They lost to Desark 58-8. Then number 9, Junction City did not play. They were off. And then number 10, Quitman, who we moved up this last week back in the top 10, they beat Johnson County Westside 47-8. Hector beat Conway Christian 46-8. They were not in our top 10, but I did write them down just because I wanted to see where they'd fit in this week possibly. This week, number 1, Bigelow. They're staying at number 1. They're 5-0. They'll play Mountainburg at home. Number 2, Gurdon. They're playing at home against Earl.
Okay.
Yeah, did you probably have something?
I had them all as off.
Okay, well, I saw somebody else had them at a different game, and then but I saw where it was two different places said 2 different things. So I went to Gurdon's school, and they do play Earl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
McCrory's number 3. We're going to keep them there just because they've beaten the ones behind them.
Yeah.
And they're at Cedar Ridge. Number 4, Hazen at Desart. Number 5, Clarendon. They're playing England at home. Number 6, Desart. We moved them up from 7-6 after that impressive win. They're going to play Hazen. That's a big one.
That's a big game.
Number 7, Fordyce. Another big one. They'll play
Yes.
Junction City at home. Number 8, Junction City playing at Fordyce. Number 9, Quitman. They'll play Yellville Summit, who's a pretty good team.
Yeah.
That could be a good game. Then number 10, moved in Hector. Couldn't keep Mount Ida in there after losing to 50 points.
Yeah. That's cool.
But we moved Hector up. They're 3-1. They'll go play at Magazine.
All right. So that will wrap us up for our Between the Mats top 10s for week 6. And it's hard to believe, man, that we're already halfway
I
through
know
the
it,
football
man.
season.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
It goes by so fast.
Or we wait all year, and it's just like a blink of an eye. It's gone.
And it's funny too, and I even kind of hate to admit this, but it's so much as we look forward to it and how much fun we have in it. When it's over, it's just kind of like,
Oh, man. That's right.
But like you're sad, but at the same time, you're just a little bit like, oh, I can rest a little bit now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
And it's Christmas time, so
Yeah.
it's holiday season. You're just like, I could probably stand a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But then you want it back.
That's right. Just a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so that'll take us into our week 6 pick'ems.
Pick'ems.
So we got 25 of the best games in the state this week, and we're tied up going into week 6. So this will be.
Oh, yes, we are.
There's some tough games to pick, man.
There are
Tough games.
tough ones that are. A lot of them are basically conference championships.
Yes, that's right. All right, so let's get started. Number 1, the Cabot Panthers come into Faulkner County to take on the high-flying Conway Wampus Cats.
The old kittens.
I've got the Cats by 7.
I got the Cats by 10.
Okay. Number 2, Bentonville West goes to Rogers. I've got West by 3.
I picked West by 3 too. This was a tough one to pick.
Yeah. The old Searcy Lions going to Marion. I've got Searcy by 10.
I picked Searcy by 7.
Okay. Number 4, El Dorado going to Sheridan, a Sheridan team that is much improved. But the thing about Sheridan, they're playing a dead tough conference.
They've taken it on the chin a couple times the last couple of weeks.
I've got this El Dorado offense, high-flying offense by 17.
I actually picked El Dorado by 40 in this one.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, number 5, Little Rock Parkview at the Benton Panthers. Man, this was a hard one for me to pick. You know, I know Benton's playing a lot better football. They're rolling right now. Parkview took a tough loss last week, but I've got Parkview in this one by 3.
I picked the Benton Panthers.
Look at you going
by
with
1.
the Panthers. I like it. So you picked them by 1?
I did.
Okay. Siloam Springs on the road against the Greenwood Bulldogs. I've got Greenwood by 17.
I picked Greenwood by 24.
Okay. Number 7, Mountain Home at Van Buren. I've got Mountain Home in this one by 6.
I got Mountain Home by 3.
Really?
I did.
Number 8, Pulaski Academy at Whitehall. This will be a big game to determine the conference champion in the Central, in the 5A Central. I've got PA by 10.
Might shock you a little bit, but I picked him by 28.
Wow.
I just don't think anybody can slow him down.
Yeah. Well, this will be a true test of offense versus defense.
Sure.
Number 9, Valley View in a big game in the East, the 5A East. They go to Win. I've got Win by 13.
I picked Win by 18.
Okay. Number 10, Magnolia going to Camden Fairview. Big game in the 5A South. I've got Camden Fairview by 3.
I picked Camden Fairview by 14.
Okay. Number 11, Morrilton. The Devil Dogs travel up to Farmington. I've got Farmington by 10.
I picked Farmington by 30.
Wow. Okay. Number 12, Greenbrier going up to Harrison. I've got our beloved Panthers by 10 at Harrison.
I got Greenbrier by 6.
Okay. Number 13, Shiloh at Prairie Grove. I've got Shiloh by 7.
I got Shiloh by 18.
Okay. Number 14, Lone Oak at Batesville Southside. I've got the Jackrabbits by 3.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
I got Southside by 3.
I like it. All right, number 15.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you good.
Just so you know, Stuttgart played Southside at Southside.
Yeah.
Beat them by 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're pretty good at home.
All right, we'll find out. Number 15, Little Rock Mills goes to Clinton. I've got Mills by 10.
I got Mills by 35.
Goodness gracious.
I'm telling you, there's some of these teams are just rolling.
Number 16, Cave City at Pocahontas. This was going to be a tough one. I went back and forth on this one. I've got Pocahontas by 3.
Oh, yeah, you do. I got Cave City by 3.
I think the 3 games.
We've really picked them
Yeah.
just right that close.
That's right.
Yeah.
Number 17, Fountain Lake at Arkadelphia. I've got the Badgers by 13.
I got them by 14.
Okay. Malvern at Ashdown. I've got Ashdown by 3 in this one.
Really? You think it's going to be close?
I do.
I got Ashton by 18.
Okay.
Malvern just hasn't quite produced like I thought they would.
Yeah, I agree with you. Number 19, Newport at Mountain View. I've got Newport in this one by 6.
I picked them by 12, but this could be a good football game.
Really could. You know, and I probably would have went a little bit closer, or maybe even picked Mountain View if they wouldn't have took
So
such
hard
a bad
on Harding,
loss.
yeah.
All right, number 20, Baptist Prep at Paris. I've got the Paris Eagles by 14.
I got Paris by 20. This will be their biggest test so far, I think.
Yeah. Number 21, Glen Rose at Bismarck. Should be a heck of a ball game. I'm going to go Glen Rose by 7.
I picked them by 8, but I agree it'll be a good one.
Okay. 22, Center Point at Prescott. I'm going to go, I think this will be a good ball game, but I think the Curly Wolves just have too much talent. They're too athletic. I've got Curly Wolves by 16.
You're gonna laugh at me, but I went ahead and picked Prescott by 30. I don't think anybody can stop him.
Yeah. I'm with you. Number 23, McGee at Camden Harmony Grove. I'm going the Owls in a close one. I've got McGee by 3.
I went ahead and picked him by 14, but I agree. This could be a pretty good matchup.
Yeah. Number 24, Hazen and at Desart. And man, I could not decide. This
was tough. I may surprise you if I picked on this one.
I went with Hazen by 1.
Good, because I went with Desart by 6. I think Desart just kind of got it back rolling the way they did.
Yeah, the only reason I went Hazen, I looked at them and they both lost to McCrory by 12.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only reason I went Hazen is because of the quarterback, Luke King there at Hazen. He's just a baller, man.
But they are going to Desart.
That's true. Very true. All right, so the last pick of week 6 in our picks of the week, number 25, Junction City at Fordyce. I'm going Red Bugs by 6.
I picked the Red Bugs by 9.
All right, so we were pretty close.
We were.
Only had 4 games.
Is that it?
Yep.
I knew we had a few, and they were close ones.
Yeah. All right, so
that's it, man.
You got anything else?
That's it, man. We're going to just barely beat an hour.
That's awesome.
Hey, that's what we need.
So shout out to Bleacher Bling.
Hey, by the way, I had to wear my Cardinals swag after going 19 of 20, 17 straight to go to the playoffs.
That's pretty impressive.
Probably going to play the Dodgers and Scherzer next Wednesday for a 1-game playoff and get beat. But hey, we made it.
That's right. You're in.
Yeah, Bleacher Bling. Hey, shout out to Varsity Coolers,
yeah.
Another sponsor.
Tell us about them.
So Varsity Coolers, a couple of really cool guys on this. Actually, 3 really cool guys on Varsity Coolers.
Right.
2 of us being you and me.
Some might dispute the cool part. Just saying.
Listen, we've got an awesome deal here. We've got several different coolers. You get they're hard coolers like your Yeti style.
Yeah.
I hate to say that they're not Yetis. They're Big Frig is who makes them.
They're better.
They're better. I mean, they're cool. I mean, I've never seen anybody that looked at them and was like, oh, I don't like it. They're awesome.
Yeah.
But we can put any logo on them, and it's there. It's not like scratch it off.
No.
It is in the cooler.
Yeah.
And you can put all these your high school teams. We do them for high schools. We do them for summer league teams. We do them for businesses. We've got awesome growlers that are engraved with teams. We've got tumblers. And
got the website up and running. Go check them out.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in the market for a cooler, or we've got some fundraising opportunities.
Fundraising is a big deal.
So go check out our website, and if you're in the market for a cooler, you'd be bad wrong not to go with one of these.
That's right. And on the fundraising deal, like you coaches especially, like your program, we can set this deal up to where your kids go and they sell these to people, and we'll give them a link. They go online and buy it.
Simple.
We split the proceeds
or
the profits, I guess, and then like you never have to touch the money.
That's right.
And you don't have to deal with anything. We order the stuff whenever the fundraiser's done.
Yeah.
It goes to your people.
That's it. It's pretty simple. All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap us up here for week 6, and we appreciate everybody. All the activity on Twitter has been amazing.
It's been awesome.
And so thank you for your support.
Players of the week, be ready. Your shirts will be on the way this week.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Check y'all next week.
That's it. I wonder what this sounds like.